Midland doesn't have a job problem, but we do have a kind of retention issue, I think, in Midland. Half of the people I know go somewhere every weekend. The month of July, there's nobody in this town.
I found that out directly, yes.
We got to find a way for just sporting events and activities and things like that to come to Midland a lot more. I think downtown revitalization is a big part of that. We're at the second story today. This place is awesome. We need more stuff like this in downtown.
Agreed.
I really want to have people stay in Midland and really grow their roots here, not feel like they have to leave to go somewhere neat,
right.
Or do an attraction.
Brian Stubbs.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Appreciate your time, dude. You are running for City Council.
Yes.
District 1 in Midland, Texas.
Yes, sir.
When I was on your website, kind of doing some research on you because I'm a professional.
Very much so. Very much so.
I saw that. Here's what I read: 6 Sigma black belt. Are you like a jiu-jitsu master? Or what?
No, it's really like a level of nerdiness. So that's a level of nerdiness. So I'm an engineer. 6 Sigma is like a problem-solving, process development type tool chest, and then black belt's like the super nerd of.
Right.
Solving
overachiever.
No, just super nerd.
Okay. All right. Super nerd. Man. Okay. Well, we're going to scrap the title of Kicking It with Brian Stubbs today.
Yeah. We don't need to do that. I used to even be a soccer player, but I still probably couldn't kick it. So
same.
I'm at an age. So
why are you running for city council?
Like I said, I've been in Midland for about 10 years. And we lived some other places before we came here. But man, as soon as you get to Midland, it just felt like home. So grew up in southeastern New Mexico. So this is close to home. And talking through this, got involved in nonprofits, have a business here. And the more you get involved in Midland, it just kind of grows. And, I'm a big fan of just giving back to the community I live in. And Midland has just provided so many things to me and my family and my business and everything else. That we thought this was a way to give back. But again, the more you put in, the more you get out. And so it's kind of this never ending kind of debt I think I have to Midland. But also, again, talking about Six Sigma stuff, I think I have some problem solving skills, leadership skills of running nonprofits, running a business, other things. So really just coming in and just saying, hey, let's go fix these problems. Let's figure out what's going on and use those skills that I bring to the table and help Midland and make this a place everybody wants to live and stay.
Well, that's noble of you. I appreciate that. That's great. Considering I live here, that's awesome. So you talked about your business a little bit as a business owner. I've heard you speak before about your business, and again on your website and things like that. Successful business owner.
Trying every day.
I saw those numbers. I mean, so like, does that, being a business owner, successful business owner, how does that help on city council?
Well, especially owning one in the Permian Basin. So again, I bought a small business. I started working there in 2015 and bought it in 2017. We were about 18 employees in 2017. Right now we're went from 1 location to 5, and we went from 18 employees to about 102 as of Monday. So the growth has been amazing. Managing a small business through COVID. Would never ever do it again. But man, you talk about experience as a business owner, as a leader, as a problem solver. It felt like, you got like drafted up to the majors. We just had to solve problems. We had to fix things. We had to take care of our employees. We had to take care of our customers in new ways. And so that's what I want to bring to the city council is, Midland's growing. It's going to keep growing. And I think the city needs to get in front of that growth. Again, as a business owner, again, in the oil business, you never feel like you're in front of the growth. But we have to find a way to get Midland in front of the growth. And we have to say, hey, this is a problem, or this is a focus we have to do. We have to make it where people want to stay in Midland on the weekends and in the summertime, because that's going to make Midland better. And that's going to take some planning. It's going to take some hard work. And that's what I do all day. And I really want to start doing that for Midland and give back in the community in that way. But as far as just running a business, again, you got to take care of your employees, because that's the very critical part of any business. And I think that translates into taking care of our citizens and our residents of Midland. We have to, we have to provide the basics of water and sewer and streets and things like that. But there's more to life than those things too. Just like there's more to a job than just showing up at 9 o'clock and going home at 5. So we have to figure out how to bring that to Midland as a whole and bring that community idea back to Midland, and so we can grow for all of us.
What does it entail being on city council?
This goes back to it. You get what you put into it. So I'm on some boards right now that are involved in the city. So it'd be going to those boards, making sure that we have things like good water, making sure that I'm on the Easy Rider, the Midland Odessa Urban Transient Board. So, just making sure they're doing what they need to do and make sure they have the resources they need, make sure they understand what the problems of Midland are, and taking that back to the council saying, hey, this is a problem we need to fix. And then right now it's going to be, I think for the next year, it's going to be solving the fireman pension fund.
Okay.
So that is just going to be a very time consuming, it's a very complicated problem. It's a very critical problem that we have to fix. So it's going to be time consuming, and it's going to be days and days of meetings, sitting, figuring it out and getting information and trying to figure out the best solution. So it's, like I said, I think you kind of wander around and solve problems all day.
You're a problem solver.
That's what we do anyways.
Yeah,
So
it's just inherent.
yeah, it's meetings. But again, that's how you make real progress, is get the right people in the room and figure it out.
Meetings, yikes.
Yes. One of my least favorite things, unless they're good meetings. So there's a big difference between a meeting and a good meeting. So we can get rid of just the,
And I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. You mentioned boards, and I saw it was a lot of boards.
Yep.
Right. So going back to your aspect of giving back, does that prepare you? Is that like city council 101 as being on all these boards?
I think so. So running a business, you have a little bit different relationship with your employees, right? Because they need the job and you need them to kind of do the work. And so it's a little bit different relationship than managing volunteers on a nonprofit. Volunteers can just turn around and go home. And so it's a lot different leadership style and leadership skills that you get in a nonprofit. And also the mission statement's a lot different. At a business, you're there to take care of customers and take care of employees. At a nonprofit, you're really there to do a mission. And those missions can be pretty broad or pretty unique or pretty specific, but you've got to figure out a way to get people motivated and energized about performing a mission. Again, people that can just turn around and walk away and go home if they want to. So it's a very different leadership style. It's a very different problem. It's a very different, way to coach and mentor and grow people. So yeah, I think being part of that nonprofit world really brings a different skill set. The other thing is I've been involved in some educational nonprofits. So you just get to see another side of Midland too. As a parent, involved in schools, but if I was involved in nonprofits, I'd only be involved in my son's schools. So this gets me involved in other schools, so I can see what goes on at Bunch Elementary School, which I used to do a lot of work for, versus what goes on at where my son went to elementary school. They are two very different schools, different problems, and that they need different solutions and different people working on them. So it's given me a very broad look at what happens in Midland. Like I said, we're not all in the oil business. We're not all doing deals every day. There are some problems in Midland that we need to fix for everybody. And that's really shown me what those might be and how to fix those.
You're on so many boards. How did you decide, what path were you going to go down? What came through your mind in choosing those types of things?
Well, one of the things I'll tell you, which I think this is just a testimony of the people that make up Midland. I got involved in a couple I was really engaged with or passionate about, which I'll talk about. But, then my work was like, hey, you're taking off the afternoon to go do this. You think that's good for the business? And really, the way Midland and the people are, the more involved you are, the more help you get. Again, I've been running a business for almost 10 years now. It's amazing when I have a problem and I need help, how often I can raise my hand in the nonprofit world and somebody jump in and help me. So if you want to build a network in Midland, that's the way you do it. Just get involved in nonprofits. I don't remember the numbers, but I know a couple of years ago, Midland and Odessa together had 1,400 nonprofits.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Which is absolutely amazing. I tell people, if you want to get involved, just find something you're passionate about.
Okay.
I was passionate about education. So my first two boards were all about education. But you can go look at, find what you're passionate about and just go search it. And there's usually a nonprofit here that does it. If you're still kind of lost, there's actually 3 really neat programs in Midland that I don't know everybody knows about. One is Leadership Midland through the Chamber of Commerce.
I just joined.
Oh, yes, you did. I knew that. I saw your name on the list. But, that's one day a month that they just immerse you in part of Midland. So they have a government day and a nonprofit day and an oil and gas day. And the people that you learn and or the things you learn and the people you meet is just unreal in that experience. So highly recommend that. There's Midland 101 that the city puts on. And it's a very, I didn't take that one, but I know a lot of people that did, but it's kind of a similar thing. They dive into city government. This is what the police department does. This is what, the sewer and water does. And this is what fire department does. And they teach you about the city. But again, there's a lot of networking involved in that. And the last one is the Nonprofit Management Center. They do generations. And it's really a one year, I think it's one day a month still, where they teach you how to be on the board. So they teach you the governance. They teach you about insurance. They teach you about leadership. They teach you about, what a executive director should do. They teach you about fundraising. And then at the end of that course, you have to go join a board and they'll help you find one.
Man, okay.
Like I said, if you want to get involved in Midland, you really just have to raise your hand, I feel like, and somebody will come by and say, come with me, we'll go figure it out.
Yeah, that is one thing that I recognized moving here was like the generosity of the people here, right? The friendliness and the generosity without necessarily like an ask back, right? I was like, wow, the people here are just truly genuine. And that's why, I love it here.
Yes.
Right? Like my wife's from here and we're not leaving. Right? And so we want to get more involved. So I do appreciate you kind of filling me in. I might ask you for some business consulting after this.
Yes.
But
I do that for fun on the side too.
Yes. I might be a Sigma black belt after this. So when you get to city council, what are you focusing on first? You talked a little bit about the firemen's pension fund, but what's your plan here?
Yes. And I that's just, it's a big problem. I feel like it's just a cloud hanging over Midland right now that we've got to solve. It's impacting our ability to recruit and keep firefighters. Again, I wouldn't like it if my pension fund was in, question for months at a time. So we've got to solve that. And again, I think every day we go without funding it, we're losing money that should go in that fund. So there is some urgency to it that we've got to figure out. So I really think that's got to be the top priority. And I kind of feel like we've kind of put it on hold for the election, which isn't good for anybody, but I really think we got to hit that pretty hard. November 6th, I hope. And then I think the other one is just quality of place. One of the things I think I've seen as a business owner and talking to people that have just moved here, Midland doesn't have a job problem. We have one of the lowest unemployment rates. I looked at some data the other day. It's been, except for 2020, we haven't been above 5%.
What happened in 2020?
I don't know. I just remember taking a lot of days off in 2020.
I was playing a lot of Animal Crossing. Yeah, I remember.
So we don't have a job creation problem, but we do have a kind of retention issue, I think, in Midland. Okay. So again, I know people, half of the people I know go somewhere every weekend. The month of July, there's nobody in this town.
I found that out directly. Yes.
Yeah. Traffic's, if you want to come look at traffic, come in July. So we got to find a reason to have people live in Midland and live there, most of their time here in Midland. So I love things like the Costco. I'm sad that the Bass Pro Shop didn't make it, but we've got some amazing things happening in Midland with the sports syndicate. Again, there's a really neat things, and we need to find a way to kind of grow those to where people want to stay here on the weekends. And again, I think it's a little bit more complicated of a problem because I know we did it for a couple of years. People go to Dallas for sports for their kids.
Sure.
We got to find a way to get those here. And we got to find a way for just sporting events and activities and things like that to come to Midland a lot more. I think downtown revitalization is a big part of that. We're at the second story today. This place is awesome. We need more stuff like this in downtown.
Agreed.
To get, both 9 to 5 and afterwards traffic downtown. So I really want to have people stay in Midland and really grow their roots here, not feel like they have to leave to go somewhere neat,
right,
or do an attraction.
So. Yeah, you hear that typical, there's nothing to do. We hear it all the time in the comments and things like that. I'm like, there's a lot of things to do.
It's getting more and more. Well, just things like the tailgate. That wasn't there a couple years ago. And they have a concert once a week almost. And you might not be your favorite band and it might not be, what you're really into, but on a nice, cool fall night like this weekend, and there's a concert this weekend. It's just a great place to go hang out.
There's a concert here on Saturday.
Yeah.
We're at the Tall City Blues Fest last Saturday.
Yep.
September Fest. There's a lot going on.
There is.
I think it's just a matter of getting the word out.
Yes.
Right. On a frequent basis. What does Midland mean to you?
Great question. I said this last night in our forum. I said that my youngest son was sitting there across from me. You know, Midland, I kind of have the analogy, you know, they say a home or a house is just bricks and mortar, and a home is where you have family and love.
Mhm.
And I feel like it's that same way. You can move to any town, but being part of a community in Midland is really amazing. My youngest son, you know, he's pretty outgoing to say the least, but you know, he has like 30 grandparents. Like
Wow.
he really thinks he does. Like if he has a problem, he has somebody else to call. When we go to church, we don't even see him. He's sitting with another couple. He's sitting with friends. He's part of a club that that group has just taken him with them, and they do all sorts of stuff with my son. Like he doesn't know like a stranger
Mhm.
because he's always around people that you know care for him in a very special way. And I think that's a great example of Midland. Like I said, as a small business owner, the support system, the help and the push that you get to be a business owner and have a lot of help and just resources that you wouldn't expect. And then so really just for me as a person, getting involved has been amazing. I think the growth and the I guess situations I've been put in that have helped me grow and then I've been able to give back at the same time have been amazing as a raising a family in this town. I mean, we still go see our teachers. We still go to sporting events and know everybody on the team at the end of the season. And you know, you meet a dad at a baseball game, and 3 years later, you see him and you just start talking to him. And just having that connection with the community is just unreal. So Midland has been absolutely fantastic for me and my family and my business and our employees. And it means everything. This is home, like you said, that we're not going anywhere
Right.
anytime. I have no place I want to even move. So it's getting plugged in, getting involved. And again, the city just keeps giving back and giving back every time.
I've you know, met a few people here in town. We interviewed the former mayor, the current mayor
Hmm.
before, and I'm always in that mindset of going like, man, it's clearly not for the money. So like, what type of person, you know what I mean? Like, you've really got to want to make change.
Yep.
So to the people out there to Midland, why should why should they vote for Brian Stubbs?
So again, I care about Midland. I think I have some pretty unique skills about problem solving and leadership, and also I've gotten to see a lot of Midland in the 10 years I've been here, and that experience is just like I said, it's hard to get, but man, it's worth a lot. And so I really want to dive in and solve problems, and I think the biggest reason I'm asking for votes is through my process of growing a company. I've learned growth is probably the hardest thing you'll ever do. There's decisions to make every day. You don't always have the information or the data or even the time to make a good decision. You've got to make decisions. Most of the time, they're not the right decisions, but you made them, you move forward, you at least know more than you knew yesterday. And, you know, having that experience pretty much constantly the last 8 or 10 years has really kind of prepared me to tackle these larger problems. And, you know, taking the emotion out of it sometimes is really important. And then just really getting to the facts and saying, hey, this is what we got to do. Like I said, the fireman pension fund, I think we just got to put a plan down on paper. It's not going to be right the first time. Not everybody's going to like it the first time, but let's at least get it down on paper so we can start talking about it.
Sure. Start the
That's
conversation.
yes. And bringing the right people in the room to get it down on paper is you know very very important and something you have to focus on, and just start that process of how do we solve these problems? How do we get the right people involved? Let's put it on paper. If people don't like it, that's why they make red pens. I used a lot of or got a lot of red pens used on me in high school. Let's get the red pens out and figure out what we want to do, what we don't want to do. But I'll be focused on solving the problems, and that's what I bring to the table. Is let's focus on the solutions and figure out what we can do to move forward.
Excellent, man. Well, before we wrap up, because you've got a whole party here,
Yes.
do appreciate you.
Thank you,
Like,
everybody that came out, by the way.
yeah, putting a whole party together. I thought we were just recording a podcast today. This is awesome. So we know that, you know, the election's around the corner, but for the people who want to get involved, like where do they go?
Yes.
What do they do?
So the easiest thing to do is just go to our website. It's brianstubbs.vote. It's got signups for it. Also on our social media, Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. We have a volunteer sign up sheet out there, app out there that you can put your name in, and it'll tell you when we're walking blocks or doing events like today, and you can get involved very easily with that.
Excellent, man. Pretty
Yes.
straightforward.
Awesome.
Technology, I love it.
It's easy. God, it makes life easy sometimes.
All right. So one quick question I almost forgot. So like when you're on city council, I'm a very safe driver, but if I happen to get like a speeding ticket or something, do I just call you directly?
Man, I wish it was that easy.
Okay.
Actually, I did a ride along with a police officer on Monday night and got to see what the police do. And one of the things that's
How do I do that?
Yes, you can just call up the city. I don't know if they want me to tell you that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can call the city and ask for a ride along. Apparently, I didn't know.
Well,
like you don't have to be
noted.
Yes, but the police officer I rode around with was a really great guy, but he is all about education. So we probably pulled 8 people over. I don't think he gave a citation, but he spent time educating. Hey, this is what you did. This is, don't do it again. And he did give 1 citation because somebody had just gotten pulled over according to the record. So yeah, if you get pulled over twice, you're going to get a ticket.
Yeah.
But
no do-overs.
But, like on Rankin Highway, we're on South Rankin Highway and people pull into the middle lane when they're making a left-hand turn and then get into the driving lane.
Yeah.
Well, that's illegal because it causes a lot of head-on collisions in the middle lane. I was like, I didn't know that. So he is actively out there saying, hey, let's be safe. It's not like it's a felony or anything. We don't have to take you to jail, but next time don't pull in that center lane because it's unsafe for you and the people around you. So that kind of stuff is what I really like.
Yeah.
It's getting rid of a speeding ticket. Yeah, I thought that's not me.
I had to try.
I'll give you the captain's number or something.
I appreciate that. I want to do next podcast might be a ride along episode.
Oh, you should go do that.
Midland cop style.
Yes. It was amazing. Watch how the PD works in Midland. If you want to see teamwork at its finest, the Midland Police Department. Perfect. They're amazing.
Brian, man, thanks again for coming in, dude.
Thank you for having me.
Let's go party.
Yes.
And get the word out,
people
man.
out there.
Thanks again, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank y'all.
Bye. Boom.